Utopia, where we bring you important stories about Utah's wilderness and ways you can contribute to conservation. And today is no different. Most of you recycle, you take public transportation, you donate to nonprofits, but sometimes it's hard not to feel helpless seeing devastating news every day. Animal extinctions, plastic in our oceans, fracking. But there is a way you can help. Become a citizen scientist. What is a citizen scientist? Here's Sean King with that story.
When a child first explores the world, it seems that every little insect, bumblebee, and blade of grass is infinitely fascinating. As we grow older and wiser, this fascination often wanes, and the natural world becomes distant, separate, a place to visit. But the truth is, nature is all around us.
So a lot of times we watch these documentaries about the beautiful ocean and whales and exotic monkeys in the jungle, but oh my gosh, if I could take you for a walk here in the foothills and introduce you to all my friends that live out here, it's so exciting. We live in such a beautiful place.
One way to feel more connected to nature and less helpless fighting for Mother Earth is to become a citizen scientist. Traditionally called an amateur scientist, a citizen scientist can be a huge help to trained professional scientists and researchers who do not have the time or money to be in all places at all times. With an army of citizen scientists, the workload of resource managers lessens, coverage and bandwidth increases, and ecosystem monitoring becomes more effective.
An amateur is somebody who loves what they are engaged in. That's the root of it, is to love. And oftentimes, and in many cases, and particularly in the modern cases of what we're referring to as citizen science, such people, amateurs, are doing wonderful work that would be impossible to be done just by professional scientists, because there aren't enough of us.
If you live in Salt Lake City, like most places in Utah, you are immersed in and adjacent to plenty of wildlife habitat. Utopia host Ashley Limon recently joined the Natural History Museum of Utah for a neighborhood naturalist event at Hidden Hollow Park in Sugar House. Surrounded by condos and shopping plazas, it's surprising how much wildlife can be found here.
So here along Parley's Creek, there are lots of options for things to see, especially in the evening. We might see some great birds hanging out around. So keep your eyes up when we're walking around. There are a lot of fabulous insects around too, and so we'll also stop and look maybe at things below our feet. There are great spiders living in the preserve and some other insects. I've got some little vials that we can use to catch them and take a closer look and learn about what they are.
The Natural History Museum of Utah partners with the Salt Lake City Parks and Public Lands to collect data about wildlife in the parks and natural lands they manage. The city simply does not have the resources to tackle such a gargantuan task. Subsequently, the Natural History Museum enlists the help of volunteers and citizen scientists for much of the work.
So a big part of what we're doing with these neighborhood naturalist events is something called citizen science. And so citizen science essentially is any time people who aren't formally trained as scientists are engaging in scientific practices. So today, as part of the BioBlitz, you're going to be a citizen scientist helping us gather data. And so the point is, you don't have to be somebody that's able to study insects up close or capture them and know more about them. All we're doing is taking photos of things that we see. Those get saved online. They're geotagged to a specific location and the time of day, and all sorts of things are saved. And then that information is online and available to the scientists and the people who actually know what about that stuff matters.
28,189,149 observations. 240,310 species. 101,713 identifiers. At the time of this broadcast, these are the numbers on a website called iNaturalist.org. The website operates like this: Upload a photo of any living thing, and the iNaturalist community, or Identifiers, will tell you what your picture is a picture of. Often within hours, and sometimes within minutes, the subject of your picture will be identified. This website could be one of the best free tools ever for resource managers, giving hope to those fighting the incoming tide of the sixth great extinction. Citizen scientist Rebecca Ray from Salt Lake City is an active participant on iNaturalist.
I love to do what I do as a hobby so much that when I have free time, I grab my camera. A lot of people use their phones, and I just head outside.
Rebecca loves spiders. She especially loves looking for spiders, taking pictures of them, and uploading them to iNaturalist. So far, she has over 2,000 uploads or observations. Lots of Rebecca's uploaded photos consist of spiders, but she likes all insects. On iNaturalist, people upload photos of bugs, birds, reptiles, mammals, trees, plants, even weeds and algae.
Fungi, if you're into mushrooms, if you like, there are people that upload bacteria and the life that they find in water, aquatic plants and aquatic creatures, anything living. So there's a whole world out there of biodiversity to find.
You don't have to be a trained wildlife photographer to participate on iNaturalist. And once you have uploaded your first photo, you can call yourself a citizen scientist, because what you photograph could really make a difference. You never know.
There was one little creature that was on my rose bush, and to me it looked like some common little hopper, a leaf hopper or a plant hopper. And I asked one guy who's a specialist in tiny things like that, and he was able to identify it. He says this is a type of psyllid that hasn't been seen in this form since 100 years ago when it was first described. And it was truly a lesson to me that you don't know. You could be looking at something incredibly rare, exciting, and you just never know it.
So we've confirmed there are at least 40 insect and arachnid species that call that park home, all based on observations that we've made during our BioBlitz events. And of those, 3 are dragonfly species that are endangered. Wow. And because of that data, the cities changed their management practices with weeds. And so because of these endangered species and the insects that live there, they don't spray as often, but they do hand pulling instead, which is way better for insect populations. And all of the data that we collect will live on forever, and so even if it's not actively important to the city, it doesn't mean it won't be down the line, because it's helping showcase biodiversity at a certain time. And so they can look back and think, oh yeah, what was it like then?
In 2008, in northern Utah, a resident took a photo of a common-looking bug. 3 years later, this photo was uploaded to iNaturalist. Turns out, this wasn't just some ordinary bug. It looked like a box elder bug. But it was soon revealed that this was the first record of a European firebug to be found in North America in 100 years. And it was found in northern Utah. This set off alarm bells for resource managers because, as the name implies, European firebugs should not be found in Utah.
They're a highly conspicuous bug. They're red with 2 black spots, and they're big. They're like a very conspicuous bug, and they proliferate. There were 2 discovered in 1898 in New Jersey. In 100 years, none were found in the entire United States. 2008, boom, Salt Lake City. How did they get here? Nobody knows. They're not pests on people. They're not pests on pets. Somebody brought a couple back in a suitcase? I don't know. Nobody knows. There's no way to know.
Firebugs are not harmful to people. You can pick them up and handle them. They can easily be confused with box elder bugs.
We started documenting where their range spread from Salt Lake spreading out, and we continue to document as their range spreads. into the outlying areas. And now they're starting to pop up. And we're using the app called iNaturalist, which is a free app. You can put it on your phone, or if you're not an app person, you can take pictures and upload them to a computer.
Don't go away. More Utopia after a message from our sponsors.